Did you press go live? How'd you do that? Oh, bye. Well, I guess we are chilling. Aren't I such a good DJ? Can't tell right now. Oh, I thought you had your mic on too. It's just me.
Yeah.
Why? Oh, Wheat Waffles is here. You can shut it off. I don't know how to do this.
Hello?
Hi, Wheat Waffles. We're live, just so you know.
Am I live now or am I still backstage?
We're live.
Alright, okay.
We turned the music on. We were trying to have a party.
Alright, fair enough.
Okay. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, sorry about the delay. I just had to do
You're
something
good.
really quickly.
Yeah, no, you're good. I'm always late, so it doesn't really matter.
Alright, okay, cool. Yeah, so
I disagree with you on some stuff.
disagree or agree?
Disagree.
Okay, yeah,
But
go on.
just before I get there, I want to clarify a few things. I've been in the red pill space, and I know there's crossover with different groups. People tell me I'm black pill. I don't really know. Black pill, though, what confuses me is there's some groups that are like the face raiders. Then you have the MGTOW guys. Can you explain to me how black pill split up and stuff?
I would say MGTOW is more like red pill, to be honest.
Okay.
MGTOW, when I hear MGTOW, I more think of like fine wine cope, like, which I just think no black pillar could ever agree with. Like, if a black pillar really believes that men peak after 30, then they're completely deluded, and they're definitely not black pill. Like, that's a MGTOW
Yeah.
tribe, in my opinion. You know, because MGTOW is like the whole idea that women want to use men for their money, and you know, as men you know, age, that they age like fine wine because they acquire more status, more resources, and then all of these women start coming out of the woodwork, which I just don't see as true, to be honest.
So red pill believes game over looks, and then black pill is looks over game, right?
I would say there's different like
Levels.
no, yeah, there's different like subcategories within the red pill though. So you've got some red pillars who believe in like game. These are more like the PUA types who, you know, they think that no matter what you look like, no matter how poor or rich you are, like if you just do 10,000 approaches, bro, and you have the right confidence and social skills, then you're going to be able to attract any women. And then you've got more like the MGTOW guys who I would say, and these aren't just like MGTOW. There's also like other red pillars who believe in this, who, you know, like fresh and fit and stuff. Like they think it's all about status and, you know, holding a masculine frame and maxing out your money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And these are like the guys that I disagree with the most. I just hate the whole age like fine wine cope. Like it's not to say that there isn't an element of truth to it, but I've thought of a new catchphrase that chasing money equals chasing single mums. So
Really?
like if you want to like, you know, money max and you think that money is going to lead to more options,
It does.
then it might in some cases, but
it does in the stats too. Money maps on actually to the amount.
But I would say that the quality of those women is going to be quite low, and a lot of them are going to be chasing a beta box. So like if you're a single mum, then yeah, your financial position is quite screwed, and you're going to need the money. So that's why you got to marry the you know, less attractive rich guy. But if a girl's at college, like, and bearing in mind that like college age girls are their prime, and you know they've already got loads of daddy's money paying the bills, and they have all care in the world. Like, you know, they're not working. Most girls in university don't even understand the real value of money because they've never had to work a day in their life, so they don't know like how far like a dollar goes or a pound goes.
Old of you, Wheat Waffles. What the fuck?
So they just they don't really like, you know, care or understand about, you know, money. And
Do you really believe that? Do you really believe that?
I open my eyes and I've seen the data. If you, in fact, both agree with what I'm saying. If you go to like a college, most girls are dating some guy their age, the best looking guy. They don't care if he's got money or not because they don't care for money at that time. Like, what are they fussed about money?
Okay. So you're saying like relativity, like whoever's around them, they're kind of dating.
Yeah.
Right?
And even the data confirms, like, in fact, if you bring up a world map of the average age gap by a country,
Oh
the
yeah.
more developed a country is, and the more like progressive a country is as well. So, like the less income inequality a country has, then the closer the age gap is between marriages. And I think that signifies how money is
Well,
a lot less relevant.
hold up. There's people in the Middle Eastern countries that justify pedophilia by marrying young girls that are below
I'm
the
not
age
talking
of
about
18.
that.
So that's
I'm not
going
talking
to
about
be,
those. I'm not talking about screwed up
that's
countries with like
right,
messed up
but that's
cultures. I'm talking
included.
about.
But
I'm
that's
talking about in
included in
countries
a
like
world map,
no. What I'm talking about is like, Eastern Europe is going to be less developed than Western Europe. Africa is going to be a lot less developed than, all of Europe, and Asia is going to be less developed. Same with South America. In these countries, they're a lot more likely to marry a man who is like 10 years older than them. And I would say the reason for that is because those men who are in their 30s are more likely to have more resources and more money. And this is why you see
Mhm.
that most of these red pill guys and most of these fine wine copers, a lot of them are in like their
In my
50s.
comfort.
Like you've got Richard Cooper, and you've got who's his bum buddy mate. It's Rolo Tomasi. Like these guys are like well over 50. So what do they know? Well, they were in the dating market like 30 years ago. And
Well,
obviously,
so
living standards were a bit lower in that time. Like, they weren't third world countries in America
well,
at that time. But
I understand where you're coming from with that, but one of the big things in Red Pill is that the dating hasn't changed. Just the land, like
it
where
has.
you meet people.
Dating's
It's,
massively changed.
no,
It's changed more time. It's changed more in the last 15 years than it has in the previous 100 years before that. For one reason, online dating. Online dating has single-handedly shifted everything from the money, the
Are black
personality.
pillars always this hormonal? Jesus.
You're the one with the energy drink in your hand, it seems
It's
like.
actually alcohol. I'm like, Jesus. No, but there's a couple things I want to say to that. Number one, in the world, the number of people who have a 10-year age gap or more is below 4%. It gets even more below in the United States. I know that for a fact. Number two, women, when it's reversed in terms of age gap, so you have an older woman and younger guys, that's really big in Hawaii. I guess Hawaii is the number one and the only place where there's older women. I thought that was interesting. I figured that out the other day. Number three, you said something like, I can't remember, something with the fine wine copers. Before that, though. Shit, what did you say?
No, I disagree with them. That their ringleader is like over 50.
You don't like Tomasi? Daddy Tomasi?
I don't like Tomasi, and I don't like Cooper either.
Really?
I think the whole audience are just
they like you. Why are you?
No, they're not. No,
Yeah, they
their
do.
whole audience
I've
is
heard
the opposite of mine. I think that most of his takes are garbage, and I think that like he's one of the lowest SMV guys in the space. Like
Who?
Cooper.
Rolo?
Or Rolo, both of them, because they're just old. Like if they made a dating profile,
But you just said
the only chance that they would have with modern women today
Wait,
is
hold
like
on.
sugar dating.
But,
the only chances that they would have with women under the age of 25 is sugar dating. There's no way that a under 25-year-old woman would actually date them seriously without money involved. That's just never going to happen.
But Wheat Waffles, you've just said that there's age gaps of 10 years or more. So which is it? Are you saying like 30, 40?
No. So I'm saying in third world countries, you're more likely to see those age gaps. And that's because the, poorer women, in order for them to escape poverty, like if you're a person living in poverty.
I told you the pedophilia is justified. That's the Middle East. They get married for economy.
I'm not talking about those countries.
But you are, because they're third world countries. Correct?
I would say that the Middle East is third world.
Not all of it.
Where you go.
Not all of it, but there's certainly
places
parts
in the world
of
at the moment because they got the big oil money. But I'm not talking about those countries. I'm
depends.
talking about just your like. There's 200 countries in the world. Only about 15 of them are in the Middle East. So that's like less than 10% of the sample. I'm talking about most other countries. I could even
they're Islamic countries. I'll tell you that. Maybe they're not Middle East. I don't know exactly where the religion is, but that is strictly Islamic countries. I know that for a fact. I just did a whole thing on child marriage. But regardless, I'll hear you. It's still evidence. I just don't know if it's applicable when we're talking about online dating or in the West. You know, it's like a third world country. It's like very different. But most people get married at the same age.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying is relevant. And that's why I'm saying
Mhm.
that looks
Oh,
and
yeah.
age is becoming such more of a big factor.
Mhm.
And have you seen that chart which shows the age that women and men find the opposite sex as the most attractive?
Mhm.
And men pretty much all say like 18 to 23-year-olds,
Yeah.
like irrespective of their age. But then
Mhm.
women almost all say their age match, apart from when it comes to women over 35, they actually prefer younger men.
Yeah.
So like I'm pretty
No, I
sure.
know. I know. I hate when people misinterpret this stat. You're the first person I've heard actually interpret it correctly. And you know that the age that they prefer men is no later than like 30. Is that the same study?
I think so. Yeah, it's that
Yeah.
chart where it's like got
Mhm.
the flat line at the bottom for like the men's viewings of women, and then it's got
It's the
just
OkCupid.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Then it's got like the staircase of for when women are looking at men.
Every time I hear a guy talk about this, it's probably a red pillar, if anybody. And they're always like, yeah, and women prefer men at age 50. I was like, you're saying women 18 through 49 prefer men at 50, or even
That's just
18 through
delusional. They're
24.
just
I
not
know.
reading
I
the
know.
data correctly because the
I
data
know.
doesn't say that at all.
I
If
know.
anything, it's most saying. Like if you really wanted to boil it down,
Mhm.
and remove like the subtle intricacies of the data,
Mhm.
women want age matched men.
Yeah, pretty
That's
much.
basically what it is.
Yeah.
Like, there is like a couple exceptions there, such as the over 35 women, but even then, like they're
Well,
only
that's
dating
because
down
the
by a few
men that
years.
go for women that are typically older are younger men. That's been a thing forever. Have you seen? I've worked in nightclubs, so maybe I'm biased in terms of that, but I've seen most of the older women get hit on by 21-year-olds typically. It's a little crazy.
Mm.
But yeah, I know. I saw your nightclub video and I vehemently disagree with it.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
What nightclub video are you talking about?
You
I think I
did.
might have made that one like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, and your views might have changed. Like I don't hold people to views a year plus or whatever. You can clarify if you will, but you say that online dating and then meeting in nightclubs are the top two worst places because nightclubs, you have to cold approach. Which, by the way, I've dated a guy that cold approached me for about a year, who is also ginger. Woo. But you said because it's mainly cold approaches and you gave like 10 reasons maybe why women go to nightclubs and meeting men was not on there. Something like
Yeah,
that.
I think nightclubs are potentially the worst way to meet women. And the main reason is because it's damage maxing. Damage maxing means that you're going to be attracting a lower quality, a lower caliber of women.
Would you
So
say married women
you're not
are?
gonna find wife material in a nightclub. I don't think any of this is
That's a
controversial
cope.
to say.
That's a cope.
No, it's not. No, it's
Yeah, it
not.
is. Because if
No,
you
no, no,
had
no,
two
no.
girls and one was a 10 and one was a 7, and you found out that one of them enjoyed dancing and she went to nightclubs, you would pick that one. And it's such a cope when I hear men say, no, I'd pick the 7. It's like, no, you wouldn't. Okay. If you could have a chance with either one, it wouldn't matter when you think about it, right?
I think you're vastly, vastly underestimating the connotations of what it means when a woman goes to a nightclub. Like
I mean,
the entitlement and the alcohol and the
mm,
lifestyle and the what I've seen perhaps the most is the mate switching. Women that go to nightclubs, they're the kind of women that every other week they got a new boyfriend or like they're seeing a new guy,
so
like they're making out with somebody
impulsive.
else. Like this is the kind of women that I see at a nightclub, and just the
Maybe
whole
that's in
framing
the
of it.
UK.
Sorry,
Maybe that's in the UK.
potentially, but that's what I have observed in at least this country. Maybe it's different in America, but I think those are the connotations.
Hmm. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure maybe there's a case for that, but what would you describe as a high quality wife material girl? Because most men in the world, and Rolo says this, I agree with this, have never properly vet a woman ever. No matter his status, no matter money, no matter if he's hot, most guys have never actually correctly vetted a woman. So when you say that the nightclubs breed women who are not wife material, that's fine, but can you explain it? Like, what is wife material?
What is wife material?
Hmm.
I would say if she has, well, obviously, like, there's the ones that I'm not doing this necessarily in order, but
Yeah.
I will eventually say it. So,
Mhm.
obviously, I think it's relevant if a woman has a low body count. But this has been harped on about hundreds.
Most women do.
Yeah, this has been harped on 100 times before, so I can't be bothered to just repeat
Mhm.
what's been said on 1,000 different streams before
Mhm.
this one. So I think that is a relevant point, but I won't go into detail about it.
Well,
Just because
you
it
know
came
that people in the 70s and 80s had higher body counts than they do today, right? We know that, or we
No,
don't.
I didn't know that.
Okay, because a lot of times when I talk to these guys, they get caught up in the whole MGTOW sort of TikTok compilation of women that are like, where are all the good men? And they think that all these women are hoes and all this shit. But like the average body count for a woman is 7, and the average like lifetime, and then the average lifetime partners for a man is 9. So you know what I mean? It's like, but back then I think it went up by 1 for each person respectfully.
Oh, so it's not too different then. It's still like reasonably
It's
similar
pretty
numbers.
right, but you would think that it's high, right? I thought it would be.
Yeah, it was, but then I think that there's always differences in like the way that the data is collected, and you never know if it's entirely accurate. Because if I
Well,
had to
then
guess, I would have said that
don't
it's like,
mention any other stat then, you know? Oh,
yeah,
my time's
if I had to guess, I would have estimated it would be higher today, just because the culture's changed, and you know, it's perpetuating this idea that like women are free to do whatever they like, and they can like have sex with a bunch of different guys. It's empowering for them, and
well,
that
that
whole
doesn't take
message.
away the biological fear of what sex brings. Like sex is there's a lot more consequences that come from it for women. Their body changes, the man can leave. Those are the top 2. You got 9 months to go through a bunch of stuff. A lot of women when they come out of it develop new health problems like after pregnancy. It's no joke. So my question is, how is that different? You know, like if the threat is still there, how can we say that women are even more promiscuous? Maybe for
Well,
the top.
some of the threats aren't there because obviously,
You don't
if a
think
woman's
so?
well, if a woman's on if a woman's on birth control, then the threat of pregnancy isn't there.
Oh, yes, there is. Oh, yes, there is. You can't get rid of thousands and thousands of years of lizard brain. It's still there. I don't even think we can necessarily adopt that no risk mindset. Not yet, at least. Maybe for the younger people that
Well,
like, grew up with it, but
as far as my knowledge goes on most modern birth controls, they are like 99% effective. And I don't even know if they're just saying 99%, just because nothing's ever certain. It's
yeah,
like how antibacterial says it's
yeah.
99.9% kills germs.
Mhm.
But that basically just means 100%.
Sure, but people aren't coming inside of each other, you know? They're using condoms and that sort of thing too. So
Yeah.
I don't know what like people always say this birth control thing and it's like, well, people are using different types. You know, the people that don't do it are people in relationships, right? So
Well, it depends.
the risk is within that couple, but even then it's probably not that high if you're dating somebody. You see how what I'm saying?
I don't know. I just think it's contextual. It depends on,
Mm,
what method the couple or like short-term one night stand is using. It depends
mhm.
on those factors.
Yeah. But I have a question. I kind of want
Yeah.
to switch gears. Uh, if I asked you how many, I'm going to ask you a different race, and then I want you to guess how many of them have kids in the US. I always do US. I didn't think to do UK, but they're relatively the same, if I'm not mistaken. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you more about it after, but how many white men do you think have kids
How many white men
out of a
in
hundred?
America?
Yeah, out of 100%, if you had to guess.
By what age?
It's young. Let me double check. I think it's like below 24. It's like 15 to 24. It's young.
Okay, I'm guessing it's gonna be quite low then, because the average age that a man has a kid is like 30. So I'm guessing that the number of men that have kids between 15 and 24 is going to be like
I'm sorry, it's ages
50.
20 to 29.
Okay, then for
Okay.
that I would estimate it would be about 30%.
Okay. And then what about black men?
Probably 45%.
Okay, so right now that's, you said, what was the first one? Did you say
Just
30?
say 30 and 45.
Okay, then we have Asian and Hispanic. So those are the last two. What do you
I
think
would
Asian
say
would have?
for Asian, I would say 25, and for Hispanic, I would say 35.
Okay. So you were close on the first one, kind of. It's 21.2% of white men. And then for black men, it's 24.9%. These are who have kids from 20 to 29. Asian is 12.4, and then Hispanic men are 29.4. So those are the men who have children. It's relatively close aside from the Asian men. But my follow-up question to that is, what the hell is JBW and how is that applicable at all? Like, just be white?
JBW means just be white, and it's basically the theory that if you're light skinned as a man, then dating is easier for you, and you're viewed as higher SMV
Mhm.
compared to other men of different ethnicities. And the data is grounded in that, like, if there's a Tinder profile, if there's like 4 Tinder profiles, all of like a 5 out of 10 man, one of them is a white guy, one is an Asian guy, one is a black guy, and one is a Hispanic guy, then the white guy should get more matches.
Is
That's
this a
like,
study or is this what you hypothesize? Like you think?
there's not been that exact one, but there have been similar ones. Like one of them did a 5 out of 10 white guy versus a 5 out of 10 Asian guy, and they the data showed in that was that the white guy got a lot more matches than
Do you
the
think that's
Asian guy.
because of race or because of the stereotypes associated with like a small wiener?
I think it's
You wobbles.
I think it could potentially be because of that. I think it
So
might
then
go into
wouldn't
the
that
equation.
debunk?
I would say
Wouldn't,
it mainly go. I think the main reason is because of Asian women's dating preferences.
for white men?
No, yeah, there's two things going on here. So, number one is that Asian women are seen as attractive in society, and Asian men aren't.
Okay.
So,
I'm
Asian
following.
women are generally viewed as more attractive than Asian men. And the
Okay.
second thing is that Asian women are a lot more than happy to date out of their ethnicity,
Mhm.
while Asian men aren't. So a lot of
Okay.
Asian men want to just date an Asian woman, and they don't have the opportunity to date a white woman. But a lot of Asian women, they will date white men.
Yeah.
So that means that like the dating game is essentially rigged against Asian men
Well,
because
hold on.
like the pool of Asian women is a lot less.
I agree with you, but for a different reason. Asian women in their culture, so at home or overseas, they teach the relationship to serve the man. Like, not patriarchy, fuck that. This is like obey. Like, it's to a way higher degree. Way higher degree. Do you think that maybe Asian women don't want to date Asian men for that reason? I feel like that would be the main reason that women, like the Asian women, date out of the race. But the men, why would they? Of course, they're going to date Asian women because they get to be the king of the house. You know what I mean?
Is it,
A
why
white
do you
woman's
say why
not
do you say
gonna.
that Asian women say that point again about why you think Asian
Sure.
women date white men?
I think Asian women date white men because of equality. Like the relationship is more of a partnership. But
Why
otherwise,
would that be?
well, I just said like Asian women and Asian men in the household or even overseas, but in America, if you are raised as an Asian woman, you're raised to literally cook, clean. This goes beyond though what we think of when we think of patriarchy. This is the man is literally doing nothing. It's not anything. So the girl has to cook, clean, serve him. Then when it comes to like old parents or something, the woman is the caregiver just by default, and anything that the man says goes. They're more likely to cheat. The rates that Asian men pay for sex is so high. I don't have the stat on it, but I remember we watched a video on it, so maybe double check on that. But if I was an Asian woman and I wanted a free meal ticket out of that lifestyle, because it's not what I want to do, I would date an American guy, black or white. You know what I mean? Like, why? Like, that's you're signing yourself up to be SLAVE. You know, like it's not if you can split it up. It's that the boy has never been taught to. They like cater to them at a very young age. So I'd be curious to like look over that, because I think that might be at play, if anything.
Okay, I've got no idea about
Yeah.
you know, if like those factors that you mentioned, because
Yeah.
I don't know any like, Asian relationships or
Look
marriages
into it.
or how it
There's a
works like the family.
documentary. I
But
can send it to you. I thought it was really
yeah, sure,
obviously
you
you
can
can't
you can
just,
send it to me.
yeah,
Um,
it was
but
interesting,
I
but
would say that a lot of it to do with it. A lot of it to do is with attractiveness as well, because generally, like Asian women, are just seen as more attractive, whereas Asian men aren't viewed as conventionally attractive.
but Asian women are also like over sexualized, right? So you have to decipher between a man that's seeing you as a pair of tits to a guy that actually wants to be long term with you. That's why we have like fetishize. What is it? Somebody want to say below? It's like they fetishize Asian women. There's something for it though. There's a word. There's like
I'm not sure.
they do it for like any minority, but Asian women is probably the most talked about in terms of media and how they're displayed in pornography,
Hmm.
like hentai and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's like, it's not like anime stuff.
You're more likely to date a man that has a porn addiction. So there's things that come with that. The porn isn't necessarily the issue, it's the byproduct. They're less likely to participate in sex, less likely to get it up type shit. But I don't know. I feel like that would be at play. I feel like there's a lot of factors at play. Wee waffles.
Yeah, potentially.
I'm not asking you to agree with me, just opposing alternative beliefs. But I wanted to talk about the black men. So are the black men or the Asian men the lowest in terms of like the JBW theory?
I would say Asian men, for the two reasons that I've mentioned,
Mhm.
are seen as lower SMV than black men.
Interesting. But Asian men are also, there's more Asian male models, right?
Um, I'm
Yeah.
not sure about that actually. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
there
know the
is.
data to hand.
Yeah, there is. I don't know the data either, but I used to do modeling when I was younger, and I remember there were, well, at least from what I saw, there was more Asian. I don't think I ever saw a black male. I don't think
Well,
I
if you
ever
at least
did.
think of corn studios,
Mhm.
like, there's obviously a lot of white male actors. There's a lot of black male actors. I don't think I've ever seen an Asian male actor.
Yeah, but who's dating a porn star? Do you want to date one? Because I
Yeah,
don't.
but
Like,
the idea of corn is that it's like sexual value in its rawest form.
Mhm.
Because you're removing all other factors of like dating and personality. It's purely based on looks. So I think that looking at corn, like there's a reason why there's more blonde female actors than there are like brunettes. I think that is pretty accurate evidence to show that like blondes are seen as higher SMV for women than
oh, really? You
women
think
of other
so?
hair colors.
I have a very interesting thing that I actually have proof of something for you if you want to see it. They did a study amongst men, and they had a girl with brown hair, red hair, and blonde hair. And all the men, when asked, who do you think's the most attractive? They all rated the brunette as the most attractive, which as a bartender, I thought that was shocking because most blondes would get approached. So then
Yeah,
they,
I saw that as well, but it did say later in the study that
yeah,
guys say that they would be more likely to approach the blonde.
right. So yeah, exactly. Have you seen this guy on
Yeah,
TikTok?
I saw it on
Do you know his
TikTok.
name?
Yeah,
It's like QVL
I don't know,
something.
clothes or something.
Yeah. So then when they looked at men's behavior, they were more likely to approach the blonde girl. And then I think they guessed that it was because of negative stereotypes, like women are more, blonde girls are more fun, approachable, and more promiscuous or something. Do you remember that part?
Yeah, I think it was along those sorts of lines.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter what we think men want, it's who they approach, right? So I don't think they even, I think I would say that in pornography, surprisingly, I think they showcase each hair color like the same.
Hmm.
Maybe blonde because of the blonde there's a blonde category and a redhead category. I don't know if there's a brunette one. I'm assuming there probably is.
Yeah,
And then the Asian girls have brunette hair. I've never seen a blonde one. Like,
unless she's dyed it.
yeah. I don't know. I forgot why we were even talking about the hair color.
Yeah.
But
You have like a list of topics or subjects.
Yeah, the JBW though I thought was kind of, I just don't know if I would agree with it, but how would you separate like the face raters from other black pill? So you do face ratings, right?
Yeah, well, I'd say there's like two main subcategories of black pill. So there's Looksmaxxers and there's like just the nihilists, like / defeatists. So the Looksmaxxers are the ones who they realize the importance of looks and they know that it's the most important aspect of dating and that women, mostly want a guy who is good looking. And then the Looksmaxxers, they like, because they understand that, they want to improve their looks as much as possible in order to increase their value in the dating market. And then the defeatist guys of the black pill, they're less concerned about Looksmaxxing, and they're just essentially saying like, oh, dating is so rigged and it's so screwed up and looks is the only thing that matters, so there's no point trying, there's no point in putting any work. Looksmaxxing doesn't even work. I'm never gonna be able to improve my height or face, so I might as well just like quit dating. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you're saying that you think that you can maximize it, but there's other guys that are more hopeless, doomer, if you will. Is that what I get?
Yeah. I'll say like they doomer types.
Okay.
I would say I'm more like of a Looksmaxxer. So I understand and agree that looks are the most important aspect of dating, and that men are massively discriminated based on their looks. However, there's still, like, as long as you're like at least a 5 out of 10, or even if you're like a 4 but you could Looksmaxx to a 5, then there's still like hope for you in dating. Like, it is still really rigged against you, and a 5 out of 10 woman is going to have a 10 times easier time compared to a 5 out of 10 man. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's over for the 5 out of
I vehemently disagree with all of that. All of it. I've dated some ugly motherfuckers. It's not about me, but I know a lot of people. What medium ugly? Have you heard this phrase?
I have, but I have a question.
Does that mean? They're still like above
a
7 or
something?
something?
Ugly, then why aren't you dating them now?
So that's like all roads lead to Rome. Okay, most relationships end up breaking off, right? Most relationships that most people that you date, you probably are not going to end up with them. So I don't know, because they dumped me. How's that? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's not a logical answer or evidence to anything, because people break up for other reasons. It has nothing to do with the way that they first attracted you, right?
Yeah.
Just something to think about. Just something to think about. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, when it comes to nightclubs, you said something, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you said that a woman that is below a 5 can easily get sex from anybody, kind of a thing, or something like that. I don't know if you've been to a nightclub where there's fat girls, but they are treated like the absolute pieces of shit scum. They're ignored when guys are like, can I get 5 shots for this group of girls? There's a fat friend like, hello, me too. And he's like, no, for these groups, they don't even recognize them. I mean, it's bad. It is funny to you, but it's also funny to me when you guys are comparing chin sizes. So, but when we talk about how like fat girls are treated like that, how can you sit here and say that they get more matches? They don't. Maybe on online dating, I'll give you that. But like, if you think that that's where most people are meeting, I don't think it is.
Wait, did you say that fat girls get more matches than thin girls?
I said that you said they're more likely to get matches they can get sex from any guy.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, the ugliest dudes treat them like they don't exist.
No, that's
so
just
bad.
not true. That's just not
Well, I'm
true.
telling you from my
No,
experience
it's not. Okay,
before
well,
I
in my
entered.
experience,
No,
what
but
I've
hold on,
seen.
hold on, hold on. Before I even entered like the red pill space, I was making bartending videos, and this was a huge topic that nobody likes to address. It is absolutely true. Maybe not in the UK. I haven't worked there, but I've worked across the US. I've worked in Las Vegas. I've worked in Chicago. I've worked in Houston, Scottsdale. It doesn't matter. They treat them like they don't exist, almost like worse than the help. Like, I don't know how else to word it. Horrible, though. Absolutely. Like, men will punch fat women there when they're
Oh,
intoxicated.
right.
It's
Okay, yeah,
crazy.
I'm sure that happens.
No, I'm serious. I've had to do the police reports. I'm the one that witnessed it. I'm telling
right.
you.
Okay, well, in
Um,
my experience, I've seen every single fat guy that I know in my
mhm.
personal life is single and is not even close to being in a relationship. Like I don't, their dating life is non-existent.
How
But
tall are
there
they?
are a lot of the overweight women in my life
Mhm.
who are in relationships, and they're with like reasonably fit guys. Like,
So yeah,
not
I
guys
know.
with
No,
great
I know.
bodies, but at least average bodies.
This is actually crazy. We talked about this in the nightclub that the only guys that would approach the girls maybe sometimes are like the ripped ass guys. And then a guy told me behind the bar it's because there's guys that go to the gym specifically to fuck fat women. So they have to pick them up, something like that. It's a thing. I swear to God.
Okay, and the other thing, I used to work in this school, and
And
every
where?
day at the end of, I used to work in this school,
Uh-huh.
and every single day at the end of school, when kids were being picked up by their parents,
Mhm.
I always saw the same thing. It was always some overweight woman with some skinny guy.
Well, they're
It was
moms,
always
right?
that.
They're
Yeah,
moms.
it was always some overweight woman
Yeah,
with
but they
some
had the
skinny,
baby.
skinny
Wheat
guy.
waffles. They
Yeah,
had
of
a
course.
baby.
Yeah,
Yeah,
obviously there's such thing as baby weight, but
right.
like the correlation was that stark that it can't all just be pinned up to baby weight. I
Well,
reckon
then
that a
you
lot of
agree with
these
the red
women,
pill that
I
men
reckon that
peak
a
at
lot of
their
these
later
women would have been
ages, then
overweight
don't you?
before.
Hold
I
on,
think a
hold
lot
on.
of these women would have been overweight before they
Oh,
had
okay.
given birth, and
No, I don't think so.
the skinny guys realize, because if you're an average guy,
Mhm,
like you're getting no matches on Tinder. Every guy's been in this position in their life before.
mhm.
You're getting no matches on Tinder, and then Tinder, the swiping is giving you nothing, and then you find yourself in like overweight chicks territory. A
Mhm.
lot of these average guys end up finding themselves, you know what, I'm getting no matches. I might as well start swiping right on these overweight women now. And these are like at least average guys who are doing this.
You know, I've talked to people who worked at like the dating app. They were like reps and shit for it. And I was like, why is there a phenomenon where if you download certain apps, you'll get a bunch of really hot people, but then in other cases you won't. And they said that who you get to show up in your list of people is directly correlated with how you like pictures, how you message, your response time. You're saying that guys don't even get messages. That's fine. I'll agree with you there. But it has more to do with how often you open the app, how often you're on the app. You get a score of 1 or 2. So would you say that maybe the reason that some of these men are not getting matches is because one, they're not paying for it? I know it's fucked up, but they're not paying for it. They're not on it often. And the women that they do see, they don't message back.
Those factors do come into the equation somewhat, but the main factor that
No,
goes in
that's
is
the
looks.
only thing.
I
They
could show
do
you
not
a
go
dozen
on
Tinder experiments, even
attractiveness.
ones of myself,
Mhm.
that I could show you a dozen Tinder experiments, even ones of myself. The main factor
Those
that
are skewed
determines.
because it's your
It's not
phone.
skewed. No,
It's your
it's not. It's
phone.
not.
It's the
It's not
same
skewed. It's
person.
not. No, please.
Explain it to
The
me.
main factor that determines whether a guy's going to get matches on Tinder or not
Mhm.
is how attractive he is and what the quality of the photo is. I could show you all of my friends. I could show you guys that I've spoken to. I could show you my community. The ones who look better, the ones who get good, that have got good photos,
Mhm.
get way more matches. The ugly guys get no matches. That is just how it is. The main
Yeah.
factor
No, I
is the
agree with
looks of
you.
the guy.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
all
that
of these other factors
Mhm.
are a lot less relevant. Like, the amount you're swiping, the amount you're opening the app, even if you pay for the app. If you are ugly as hell and you're paying, you're
Mhm.
still going to get no matches. The main factor is looks. It is at least 90% of the equation. All of these other things that you want to talk about, they do come into the equation, but they're minuscule in compared to having some 3 out of 10 guy versus some Chad. The Chads are the only guys getting all of the matches on these dating apps.
So as a bartender, I've never seen a Chad in my life. Based on what you call a Chad, can you describe kind of like, are you saying people above 8 hot have probably gotten a modeling contract or something? And then
I wouldn't say like they have to have a modeling contract, but are you sure you've been to a bar? Because I go to bars like every week. I see at least 5 or 6 chads. Every single one. That wasn't sarcastic. I swear to God. You either
Well,
like
I
really
told you that I
underrate
worked
most
in one,
guys.
didn't I? So
Yeah, I
that
know
was
you said that you worked at
condescending.
one. So in
If
that case,
you
must be
really want to
severely
go there,
underrated.
Wheat Waffles, if you want to go there, you have no business rating men's faces because you don't fucking date men. Last time I checked, you have no business telling them to go to get plastic surgery. I'll tell you right now, most things can be changed with braces. You don't need veneers. I've worked in modeling industry. I've worked in the beauty industry, hair, makeup for men. I'm telling you right now, the things that you say, maybe it was too long ago, so maybe I'm judging, maybe it's not the same. You have no business to do it. So if you want to tell me that I don't see it, I'd like to know where your credentials are.
Can we stick to one topic at a time? Because I go out to a bar at least once a week.
Okay.
And I see 5 to 6 chads. So you're either vastly underrating most guys. The fact that you said that you've been working at a bar, you've never seen a chad. I just think
I've been
that's
working there for 11 years.
Either you're just not paying attention to any of the guys that are there, or it's the guys in America are just so much more ugly. But I go out to a bar at least once a week. I see at least 5 or 6 chads. These are guys who are like 6'4", weigh 90 kg and lean, perfect jawline, full head of hair. These guys are chads, and I see them.
Here's a big thing. Have you heard of the term female gaze?
Yes, I have heard of the term female gaze.
We don't like that masculine man, and we don't like the muscle thing. I'm telling you,
these guys aren't muscular.
You just said he had a perfect jaw, like, and
it's mainly their height, their jaw, and their
height.
hair that is making it. It's like they're not even like jacked, but
most men are not tall. But most men are not tall.
I've seen the tall guys at these bars and at these clubs.
They're usually the bartender if they're anybody, and they can't like take your girl. You know what I mean?
I promise right now.
Will you screenshot some?
If you want to bet, I've even got a video on my phone, I'm pretty sure. But if you wanted to bet right now, because it would be worth my time, because it would take me 10 minutes to do this, I could go down to the local pub right now, live on the stream.
Do it, live stream it right now, baby.
If you promise to bet $100, $100 each way, would you do that? I could go to the nearest pub.
But so I have to find them a Chad, or is this based on your rating system?
I have to find one.
Okay, so it's on Wheat Waffles has to say if he's fuckable, is what I'm gathering, right?
If I go down there right now with my phone and I take a photo with the first Chad that I see, then are you going to pay me $100? This will be the quickest $100 you would ever lose in your life.
This leads to my next thing, right? So,
are you going to do the bet or not?
I told you. I would calm down. Calm down. I said I would. And I will admit that I'm wrong. You don't know who you're talking to. I'm actually very, very agreeable. Telling you, that's fine. If you want to do it right this second, okay, we could do it right this second.
You're going to do $100 then?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, baby, I'm sure. But I don't know if you want to do it because you're going to pick somebody who's probably working at the bar. And that doesn't count, okay?
No, I wouldn't. I would just take a photo of the first Chad that I see.
Okay. Define to me, like, you're saying his height was a thing. I don't know how that works. Women I know date guys 5'9" and below. So what do you mean by height?
It'd be a combination of their height, their face, and just like all of the features do with like face, like hair, jawline, lean, stuff like that.
Well, even most guys are attractive, right?
Sorry?
Most guys are attractive.
No, they're not. Most guys are average to below average.
Nope. That's average guy is like that's an opinion. I'm telling you right now, most men are average. Good looking.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
They're not attractive. They're average to below average. There's a big difference.
Well, what's wrong with fucking average? Most people are average. We're average. What do you mean?
Average is not good. If you're an average guy on Tinder, then you're not going to get any matches.
Jesus. That's a horrible thing to say.
Have you seen my Tinder experiment of an average guy on?
I don't know if I saw that one.
In 3 months, he got 3 dates.
Okay, but that's online. But most men are having issues online. I don't know.
They are. But only average guys and below average guys.
No, all of them are. Even the Chads.
No, that's not true. Because I've spoken to Chads. I've spoken to these like top 10% guys, and there was one guy. He said that in 3 months he went on a complete rampage. He had slept with, on average, a new girl every single 3 nights.
So you just believe a man who tells you this?
I could
Seriously.
believe it because I saw his photos.
Okay,
If I didn't see his photos, then I'd think that he's just lying and, blowing smoke and,
waffles. I'm telling you right now, I've talked about this phenomenon on my page, and so I encourage you to look. You should do a video on this. As a bartender, I have overheard guys saying that they fucked certain girls that they never did. I heard a guy, actually, I got a message on Instagram from some girl bitching me out of fucking nowhere. She's like, leave my boyfriend alone. I was like, I'm not talking to your boyfriend. I'm not talking to anybody. Come to find out, it was the guy who followed me on Instagram. I approached him at the bar because he came in as a guest, and I was like, why did you tell people that we fucked? This is my first time meeting you. So it begs the question, how often are men doing that? Well, I started to pay attention to guys that said it more, and a lot of guys are not fucking the amount that they're telling you are. They have a reason to lie. They do, because they want to be of higher status and they want to show that they're more dominant than you. Thank you for the super chat. Keep your girl off OnlyFans, one chat at a time. Take the bet. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, I'll take it. But so like, do you actually believe a guy who's?
Well, that guy just sent you $100.
I told you we could do it already. We already agreed. The issue is that your Chad doesn't exist. So that's fine.
It does exist.
It doesn't, though. It doesn't. Most guys are, okay. Why is it that in any other animal kingdom, men are the most attractive? Honestly, have you thought about this? Because hear me out. A lion and a lioness. The hair, right? A rooster and the hen. Rooster's colorful. Okay. You got the peacock and the female peacock. Not ugly. Not ugly. The cardinal and the female cardinal. He's the good looking one. He's the colorful one. The duck. Who's the better looking duck? Wheat waffles. The drake. Okay. So while you might have this distorted belief that like men appear on this level of 1 through 5 as whatever, ugly, 5 and 6 is average, and then anything above that is like arguably Chads, 10 is only Chads or something. That's not true. And I think the way that you guys view it is due to like media, social media, the unfair standards they put on men. Women don't like muscular dudes. And there's men that go to therapy because they have disorders that they think that they have to be buff. It's like body dysmorphic disorder, but with muscles. So I don't know. Sometimes I think that men think that women want this certain thing. I'll give you another example. When you tell me what women want, it is equivalent to women on Fresh and Fit telling Myron that men want girls that are educated. It's the same thing. You're telling me what I want in a guy when you're rating them on the scale. And I'm telling you right now, the 10s don't exist. Maybe on Instagram where they can edit it, but it's not accurate. Most men are bald in the nightclubs. They got to take their hats off when they come in and get a coat checked. You know what I mean? Like this idea that men are going to be like above a 5 good looking in the nightclubs. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not real.
It is, because I've seen them.
Okay.
I'm even scrolling through my phone right now to see if I've got any videos in nightclubs and stuff. Ones that I've been to.
10s don't exist. Not your 10. I'm telling you. Maybe there's model looking dudes. I've seen a really good looking dude in the Netherlands working at like a kiosk. I was like, that guy's the most attractive man I've ever seen. So yeah, maybe I've seen one Chad there. That's why I said maybe it's in the UK because you guys have more like you're closer to the Nordic countries. But I'm telling you right now, you don't find those guys in a nightclub. You really don't.
You definitely do, because there's even like the main bar that I usually go to. I even call it Chad Central, just because there's like always Chads there.
Okay, are they strippers or something? Like I don't know.
No, they're not. This is just like a regular bar, and because it's like close to a university as well, there's always these Chads. Always.
Can you describe? Sorry, my mic is so loud. Can you describe to me what a 10 is? Because maybe I have a misunderstanding. I'm going off of like the photos you've shown on 1 through 10.
So these guys are tall. They have a good face.
No, like their face. What's a good face?
Like
good teeth.
Yeah, of course. Like good symmetry, good hairline, good jawline, good eye area.
So it has all of those things. All of those things,
basically. Yeah.
Everything. Okay. Most men do not have their teeth fixed.
Well,
Most
it
men
doesn't have to be
don't.
everything, but as long as it's like
Okay.
the majority.
So it does have, okay, so overall it has to be more or less those things.
Yes.
Okay. So then a 9, if we're going off of just face, it's same thing, just more or less. What can they have different? I know you've said like they have to have certain amount of features. Like, can they have a big nose? Do you know what I'm trying to get at?
As long as it's not huge.
Wait,
But it doesn't
Waffles,
need
do
to
you
be
think I'm
perfect
going up
nose.
to men with a to measure? Like, come
No,
on.
of course, but you can just tell by looking at someone
By their
straight
face.
away.
Okay, so you do it on pictures, and I wanted to get into this. As somebody who worked with photographers, I've worked in studio lighting, natural lighting, and different. I've done agency modeling, and then I also have done like your average Instagram hoe. Okay, but men too. There's this thing that happens when you take a photo and it distorts the face based on the lens. You know that, right?
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So when you will pull photos from different guys, it's already like a tainted study because, first of all, you cannot control for the angle that they're doing at it, right? You can't say, oh, that looks like a decently big nose. My nose is fucking huge. Doesn't look that big right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's so distorted that it would be disingenuous to say that you can give a guy a score based on that. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Just
Yeah.
just something to think about. I'm not trying to say that what you're doing is the worst thing in the world. I'm just trying to say that some of the beliefs that you have, they're almost not tangible. Sorry, my mom's like yelling. They're not malleable. Tori called me a 10 out of 10. I barely pull. Whatever. Whatever. Tori called me a 10 out of 10. Thank you for the super chat. Keep your girl off OnlyFans one chat at a time. So I don't know. Do you have any follow-up thoughts to what I'm saying? Because maybe I'm just talking to Lulu. I don't know.
Hmm.
Did I make
Yeah.
you think?
I'm happy to move on to the next topic.
That's you. Oh, thank you. This is
Yeah.
a great example of the lenses. You see how she looks different?
Yeah, of course, because it's more
Same
zoomed out.
close, but look how different it is. Look at the nose.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, of course, because when you're closer up to the camera,
Mhm.
your nose looks disproportionately bigger.
Yeah, but even her eyes look different. Her hair looks different color.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks, Ronnie. Yeah, some of the other stuff I had was do you think symmetrical faces or asymmetrical faces get more are viewed more attractive if you had to guess?
Well, obviously symmetrical faces.
No, it's inaccurate. It's asymmetrical.
Well, that's just not true.
Have you
Like,
ever watched the guy on YouTube who will take half your face and then he'll flip it to see
yeah,
what it
I know
looks
what
like?
you're talking about. I
Mhm,
know what phenomenon you're talking about. That if it's
mhm.
like perfectly symmetrical, then that's not good, and you
Yeah.
look slightly worse. And a tiny bit of asymmetry is a good thing, but it
Yeah.
can't be like crazy asymmetrical.
But again, that has to go with like it's gonna just be what you ballpoint with your eyes or whatever. Like, how do you measure it? Because you
Well,
seem
because you
to
can see, like, but no, I've never seen a person whose face is too symmetrical that it looks worse. But
really
I've never seen that before. No.
okay that it looks worse. Models, I feel like models would be almost to the perfect point, but they have something about them that's kind of odd. Maybe really round eyes, deep set eyes, or something.
Hmm.
Yeah. How do you decide, like when you made your graph and you decided that, okay, this is going to go in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How did you come up with that? Was that based on like, did you ask people what do you find the most attractive? Did you like, because it's not
I've seen
necessarily
other
based.
YouTube videos
Okay.
of like who told about this, 1 to 10 scale and stuff, and
Mhm.
then I just
Go off of
sort of
that.
built upon those ideas.
Don't you think like looking at a bunch of girls' ex-boyfriends or like who they're dating would probably be more accurate?
Potentially, but there's always exceptions to the rule. Like just because
But that's
a guy who's less attractive can date a more attractive
Mhm.
girl, you have no idea about like how the power dynamics are in that
Yeah.
relationship, like who's wearing the pants,
Mhm.
and that's why so many of these relationships where the guy isn't as attractive as the girl end up
Mhm.
failing because the guy is punching, and
Mhm.
the girl realizes that she can do better. And other guys pick up on this as well. Like, I've seen that if a guy is less attractive,
Mhm.
the other guys are way more likely to try to hit on his girlfriend because they think, he doesn't deserve her. Like, he's not as attractive as her.
Mhm.
It's way more likely to happen.
I don't know. That's an opinion. I don't know. It
Hmm.
just seems like I said, I dated guys that were 5'2", 5'8", mostly. Like, I mean, I'm not the most attractive, but I've worked at nightclubs. I can look attractive with makeup on. It's just most of the girls I know, they date guys that look like, I don't know, the guy from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Like,
Okay,
they're not
how
these
many
hot
guys have you dated?
chads. I've never seen them. I'm telling you.
How many guys have you dated in your life?
8.
8, and one
Mhm.
of them was 5'2", did you say?
Yes, he was a jockey. So he would, have you ever bet on horses? It's
Yeah,
like,
of course. Yeah, I know
yeah,
what
he's
horse
the
racing.
one that rode the horse, you know? You
Okay,
have to
yeah.
be
Well,
teeny
maybe
tiny.
you just are an outlier because the
Yeah,
vast majority of women, if they saw a guy was 5'2", they would instantly reject him.
maybe 5'2". I might agree with you, but all the jockeys were pulling bitches left and right. So maybe it's just them, maybe their status with it. I don't know. But I think it depends on where they live. I don't know if you think do you follow geomaxing? Do you believe in the shit or no?
I do to some degree.
Yeah, me too.
I think, like, but I just never think it's like worth it unless you really are desperate.
You think that they shouldn't date at all? Weed waffles.
No, I'm saying that,
Oh,
um,
moving.
like, I wouldn't consider it myself.
Mhm.
Like, maybe unless like the circumstance arose, so maybe in like 30 years time,
Mhm.
and I really wanted to, to start dating again, but I knew that it would just be terrible in the West. Then I
Really?
might take advantage of geomaxing and go to a third world country and
You know,
leverage, like,
you're not
wealth and
ugly.
status. Sorry.
You're not ugly.
Yeah, no, but that's why I said in 30 years time.
Oh, but I thought you get uglier with age.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, so in 30 years time, I'd be like 50 something. I'd consider it then.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Can I
Yeah.
ask you something just personally? I'm a ginger and we used to get bullied like no other. I've heard it's really bad for guys too. What was it bad when you were growing up when it came to like middle school, high school? Did people bully you for having red hair?
I would say, like, it was never like to the point of bullying, but it was like the occasional remarks, and I
Yeah.
would say it sort of peaked in the
Mhm.
first couple years of high school when I was like
Puberty?
13, 14 or so.
Mhm.
But then it like died down after that. I don't
But did
even.
you feel unattractive? I know I did. I used to look up blonde hair, like redhead that dyes hair blonde since I was 9 up until like 18, and then I dyed it blonde.
I
And
think I was a bit more insecure about it now, but honestly, I don't think I've had any remarks
mhm,
about my hair color in a negative way in like at least the last 2 years, because
yeah.
I just think that nobody does it anymore. I don't think people care as much, or people are just like more, mature and they develop manners. So even though they might have like internal biases or something,
Mhm.
they're not in like school anymore, where like because kids can be mean.
Yeah, they can. I just was wondering, like the boys, sort of, like girls, we got it pretty bad, but I feel like boys, there's always this stigma. You're hot for a ginger. I'm sure it was even worse for men. I can only
Yeah,
imagine.
I'd say guys have it worse than girls. I would say like
Mhm.
being ginger is actually similar to being Asian, because
Mm,
I think that a lot of ginger guys are happy to date ginger girls,
mhm.
similar to how a lot of Asian guys are happy to date Asian girls. But a lot of ginger girls don't want to date a ginger guy. And secondly, that
You think so?
ginger girls are usually seen as attractive, but ginger guys aren't, like, on average. So
Mm.
I would say that it's like, similar to like how Asian men and
Justin
Asian women.
Waller, he's arguably attractive. I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
Yeah, but he's like, and even then,
Yeah.
like, I think that the age pill is catching up with him. Like, I think that
Mhm.
he's past prime.
I
He's
think
top
they
1% for his age, but
mhm.
he would like have no chance of getting a like young virgin girl. There's just no way that's gonna happen. No
Mm.
chance. Like, honestly, like, if anyone
Yeah.
thinks that I'm lying, I promise. Like, there's no way. Like, if you're above 30, your chances of
No,
Like
I
getting
agree with
a
you.
woman with who's a virgin, or at the very least a low body count, is
Yeah.
extremely low. Extremely. Because if
College is
you're
the biggest thing, in
it
my
is.
opinion.
If you're it's not just that, but like like Justin Waller, he's in like his mid to late 30s. He might be able to date a
40s.
girl who's 20. He might be able to date like 20-year-old girls.
Mhm.
But they're definitely not going to be pure. They're going to have like a kink for older guys, and
But
the
why does
girls that
it
have like
matter
a
if
kink,
he's not going to marry them, you know?
well, because I hope that a lot of people are dating for long term and they're dating for relationships. So
Yeah.
like this is what I'm trying to say is that I would not trade my position now for
Mhm.
Justin Waller, even though he on paper would be higher SMV than me. He could get
How
like
old are you,
10
roughly?
times more hookups than me, and
Mhm.
he's got 10 times more options. But I
What?
think that I
I
think
didn't
that the
think so.
quality of his options will be significantly lower in terms of purity. I think that he's because of his like age. If you're older,
Mhm.
you're almost forced into dating women with higher body counts. There's just no way around it
Do you
because
think so?
as women get older, their body count goes up, and if you're an older
Really?
guy, the only women that you're going to be able to date are either those your age, or
Mhm.
if you are lucky enough to be like a top 1% guy like Justin Waller
Mhm.
for his age, the women that you're dating, who are 10, 15, 20 years below you,
Mhm.
they're going to have a kink for older guys. And all of those women, have high body counts. That's just what I've observed. So,
I think women go for
the 20-year-old virgins are completely out of his market. There's zero chance that he would be able to get a
well, they're probably
relationship
out of
with
his market because he's not in those spaces. If let's say she's not in college, how are you going to find this girl? I think it has more to do with
Well,
where
he could cold approach them. He could,
where? What if they're
be
just at
swiping on
home?
them, online dating. Like, he could
You
have
think
those
a
two
girl
options
without you think a girl with zero body count is on Tinder? That's delusional. I don't think
potentially.
they are. Really?
Potentially.
Really? I don't know. Maybe in the UK, I don't think they would here. It's strictly like a hookup app. I don't know what it's like over there. Maybe it's more like to meet people, but not in the US. It's to fuck. So I don't know. I wanted to ask you another question. I'll end with this one because it's a funny one. But
Okay.
what's the difference between, or you tell me, would you rather same girl, except one, she has fucked one dude, but she's fucked this dude every day since she was 14. She's now 18. Okay. Every day he's got a huge dick. Or, or the girl that has a body count of 3, but the guy had a micro dick.
All three had a micro dick.
Oh, yeah, sorry. For 4 years. Same age. She dated 3 people. But he had a micro dick. They didn't fuck as often. You know what I'm trying to get at?
Okay, yeah. I'd probably say the second one.
Yeah, me too. If I was
Yeah,
a 2.
yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I just wanted to end with that. Thanks, Sweet Waffles,
Yeah.
for coming on.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
All right, I'll see you later.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, my dog has been crying nonstop. So, did I get to everybody's super chat? Wait, please find out if he's. Oh, no. I'd like to ask him more about gingers. Because that shit's brutal. They do studies on this shit with PubMed. I don't know if you guys have seen this, probably not. But there's so many stereotypes on gingers that they follow like the age of middle school or some shit all the way to your adulthood and how it affects your self-esteem. I had poor self-esteem for years, for years. So I'm just curious. I think redhead men are the hottest. I prefer them. Josh Homme's hot as fuck. But yeah. Anyways, justice for the short kings. If anybody sees a Chad, okay, and you have an Instagram, tag me at torshaa, 2 A's, and I want to see this. I want you guys take pictures of men secretly being like, Tori, this is a Chad, and I will be the fucking judge. Because I'm sick and tired of men telling me what I would like to fuck. No offense, Sweet Waffles, okay? Like the video, comment, subscribe. Okay, bye.